the 2 previous days. And today, to be honest, we're not going to talk about this morning, we're not going to talk about any specific apps, websites, tools. We're not going to talk about the specifics. Today I want to talk about the 30,000-foot view. I want to talk about the big picture. You guys have gotten some of the individual pieces of good, solid learning. You've gotten some of the individual pieces with some of the specific tools and apps and processes, things like that. I want to bring it all together with the big picture view from the 30,000 foot. The mindset. What does future ready look like? How are we going to use technology to ensure that our kids are ready for whatever the world may be? And then this afternoon, talking about STEM, STEAM, with the A in there for arts. And I want to really share the story that we have in our school district. If you allow this phrase to permeate throughout the halls and throughout the buildings in this district, then you are sunk before you even start. Education, educators, we are infamous for doing things because that's just the way we've always done it. It's tradition. Why would we change things now? And how often do we find that education, we're responding to what's happening outside of education? We're not leading the way like we should be. We are responding. We are reacting to what's happening. So I want to challenge you guys today as we have conversations and we talk to don't allow this phrase to come out of your mouth. And if this phrase does come out of your mouth, then you better have some really good reasons of why that's the way we've always done it. And if you can't justify it, you can't validate it, if you cannot concretely say this is why we're doing it, then let's look in the mirror, let's reflect, because all good educators reflect, about why we're doing the things that we're doing. Next question, next challenge I want you to think about today. What are some things that you maybe need to unlearn? What are some things you maybe need to unaccept? Learning's easy. I mean, it really is. Unlearning? That's tough work. And when you think about what are the skills that we need our kids to be able to have, we focus on kids need to be able to learn, they need to be able to do this, they need to be able to do that. I really think that our kids, they need to know how to unlearn things. How many of you guys are elementary teachers here? Oh my goodness. Middle school. Watch out for the stick. Everybody else in the room's like, yep, I know. High school? Okay, so instructional coach. All right, administrator? Technology people? Where are the technology people? Where are they at? Did I miss anybody else?
Librarians. So, library media.
Oh, library media specialist. You guys are kind of like technology and tell me about that. So we've got I can't believe how many elementary people there are. That's good. I mean, I know nothing about elementary, so this is fantastic. You guys are probably teachers. So. But we've got a pretty diverse group here, all right? And think about what happens as kids go through the process. You know, this game of school, right? They go through elementary school, then they get to middle school, and sometimes there are some habits that are pretty hard to break. And then by the time they get to high school, oh my gosh. You can't break that habit. I mean, these kids have gotten so good at playing the game of school. So think about if our kids actually knew how, understood how they could unlearn some of those behaviors, maybe that are getting in the way of some of the things that we want, okay? So those are a couple questions I want you to keep in mind today. Also, keep this question in mind. Guide on the side, facilitator of learning, an activator, an engineer of learning experiences. Ooh. So instructional coaches, what if your title was engineer of learning experiences? I think titles matter. I think words matter. What does instruction mean? When we say instruction, who's doing that? The teacher, the adult, right? What if we said learning?
The students doing that.
Yeah, that simple shift in words from instruction to learning, or teaching to learning, it changes the dynamics of the conversation completely. If you're sitting down having a conversation, let's talk about learning. Let's talk about instruction. Well, this is what I like to do. This works good for me. Does it work good for learning? It's going to work best for your kids. So think about words. Words matter. Words are powerful. Another conversation, it's a challenge moving forward to be able to ask questions that maybe aren't always the easiest questions. And then this next slide, it somewhat goes against it, but yet also is, I think, closely related. When you have an original idea, when you have something that's different, that's unique, you're opening yourself up for criticism. Naturally. You're becoming an outlier. How many of you guys consider yourselves an outlier here? Ooh, I mean, this is a dangerous question. Be careful raising your hand right now. When you raise your hand, someone's going to pull an arrow out of their pocket. But being that outlier, you're putting yourself out there. And that's not always comfortable. Sometimes it's a little lonely on that island when you're an outlier. And it's tough to take that criticism. It's tough to take those questions. But guys, remember, education is personal. This is a personal business. We're dealing with people's kids, possibly our own kids. If we don't have an opportunity to stand out when we're dealing with our kids or somebody else's kids, then when would we have that opportunity to stand out? But as I know you guys heard with Eric yesterday, and Josh probably said it too, the guys, it's not optional anymore. It's not optional anymore. You can't say that, well, I'm just not really interested, that's not my thing. Because if you're saying, well, you know, technology's not really my thing, kids, I'm not really into all that stuff, then you better not say a darn thing when that kid says, you know what, teacher, I'm just not really into those books and those worksheets. Thanks, you can keep those. Now, imagine though if you had an opportunity to learn together. Imagine that kid who has that excitement for technology is working side by side with the teacher and helping that teacher to learn about the technology. Imagine the powerfulness that can emerge from that kind of an environment. And I know you guys have lots of instructional coaches here in the district, and that is kudos to you guys in your district. And I don't know if you guys have anything like this, but I'm just going to pitch it because we have it in our district and it works wonderfully well. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in the afternoon session. We've got a program for students called our WITs, our Wildcat Instructional Technologists. Juniors and seniors. They have enormously high salaries, okay? They require health benefits. No, they're free because they're our students. And their availability is really good in between the hours of 8 to 3. And we use them to be our R&D department. We use them to be our think tank in our district. And we use them as our guinea pigs. And then we unleash them on our teachers. Go, minions. Spread the word of technology. That's something that maybe you guys would want to explore to complement the instructional coaches you have. And to figure out ways to engage kids in their learning. Because this is their learning, right? I mean, it's not all about us adults all the time. It's sometimes about those kids. So think about how that might look. Do you guys, is there a program like that in the district? Are there maybe seeds that have now been sprinkled and maybe we just need to water those seeds of making that kind of a program a possibility? I don't know. It's been pretty powerful in our district. Pretty excited about what we're doing. It exists with tools that haven't yet been invented to solve problems that we don't even know are out there. I mean, that's the reality. That's the world that we live in. And there are so many things that we can do with technology that will help make this reality something a little bit more acceptable. And to recognize that it is changing as quickly as it is changing. We talk about change. And you guys got this event this week, this EdWeek event. And maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But maybe at the end of this week, you're going to be like, yes, let's do it! Let's change! I have seen the light! And then, someone's going to say, okay, what are you going to change? You said you were excited to change, but then it becomes personal. Look at the image. Let's do it, yeah! What are you going to do? Oh, well, it's not me, she needs to change. Not me, I'm good. Change is tough. You know, the whole learning process, you know, our kids, by the time they get to middle school and high school, they're so good at playing school, it's tough to change. We adults are no different. We are not a separate being from kids. And how often do we do things to kids? We're like, we can't do that. But then adults, we do it. Shame on us. Shame on us. Okay? Change is tough. It's not easy work. But I don't think anybody in this room signed up to be an educator because this is going to be easy work. Did anybody sign up to be an educator because it's easy? Okay, good. And that's one of those rhetorical questions. Don't raise your hand on that one, all right? If you did sign up that way, then just keep your hand in your pocket and don't even go there. And the thing would change, you hear some people that they get on the bandwagon like, all right guys, we need to do a complete overhaul. The baby bath water, let's throw out the tub too, okay? Get rid of all of it. No. We've got some great things in place, guys, we do. We're doing great things for kids. We don't need a complete revolution, we just need to evolve, tweak, adjust, modify, enhance. Any one of those words, ELA people are like, yes, thank you for sharing all these wonderful words. It's not a revolution. Evolve. Evolve with the times that we know are changing. And evolve with the circumstances that we've been dealt and the kids that we get to experience every single day.